Hi, today the video is on power in being alone. I think every single one of us knows what it feels like to be alone, and it's not the most comfortable feeling. And I'm going to be honest that I don't always enjoy it, and I don't know many who love it, but I have found and discovered that there is power when you are alone, when you choose to face your insecurities, your fears. You learn what things you really like or don't like. You learn more about yourself. You can learn more about boundaries. You can, whether those boundaries are what you need to do better or what you need to set for yourself. You learn, and this one's not learning, I guess, but you can have time to heal. Sometimes it is necessary to have moments of quiet because it aids in healing. Being with people can also be healing, of course, but there is sometimes it's necessary, I guess, to say, to be alone when we're healing. There's power in that. So for myself, one story I'll share, and I do share these stories because it's good for me to share some of them. It kind of gets me to clear some of my own energy, my own fears about sharing. But I really also do it to help, just share examples if it's helpful for anybody else in any way, or maybe to help you think in your life if there's some experience where being alone helped you. The first one was when I was 14 years old. We moved. I actually moved a few times close together within a period of 2 years. And it was really hard. And going to new schools, new friends, new church environment. And everyone else in my family was in the same boat. My siblings and my parents, they were all getting used to being new. And it was hard. And I did turn to God. That was a blessing in disguise. And so something else I'd like to emphasize that I found is that being alone can be a trial, but it can also be a great blessing in disguise. Because sometimes there are things we can't or don't learn any other way or as effectively. So I drew closer to God because I prayed a lot because I was lonely, and I developed a good relationship with Him. And that blessed my entire life going forward. So I don't regret that trial because it was a great blessing to me. Another example that I wasn't going to share, and I didn't even think of it until I was making this video, it just popped in my head, but I'm going to share it. When I went through some severe health problems, and it was for a number of years, the severity was that I went to many doctors. They didn't know what was wrong with me, but the physical symptoms were pretty intense. I won't share all of them, but I was so weak sometimes that I couldn't walk to my mailbox and back. So I didn't go very many places. I didn't drive because I didn't always know if I'd be well enough to come home. I had 2 small children at the time. And most of that year that I remember, I stayed in my house alone. And my husband would come home after work, but I was alone most of that time. And this was in the days when I don't feel like I'm that old, but we didn't have a good internet set up, so my internet didn't work, and Facebook wasn't there yet, and all the social media. So I had like email, but that was about it. And there weren't even many. The TV was downstairs, and I didn't often feel good enough to walk downstairs. So I actually honestly sometimes just sat there in the room. I was watching my kids the best I could. I sometimes roll off the couch and feed them. But I felt really alone. And I did try to reach out to people, and I didn't get a lot of people come visit me during that time. It was a very lonely time. But I can tell you that was one of the best learning experiences I've ever had. And even though it was painfully lonely in a heartbreaking way, where there was a hole in my heart because of how alone I felt and even abandoned I felt, I learned what it feels like to feel that way. I learned what it feels like to be misjudged. I was a little bit. A few times I heard some things, and I'm not blaming anyone, but it was very hurtful to be misjudged or to be criticized or gossiped about. Even though I don't think that happened a lot, I heard a little bit, and not being able to do things, there's just a whole new level when you have chronic illness. But my heart has always had deep empathy and love and concern for people who struggle that way with chronic illnesses or being alone. I've had a deep, abiding, I don't know, like love for them because it's so hard and so lonely. So I'm actually really grateful I went through that. I wouldn't have learned it any other way. I actually had a dream after I went through all of that. In my dream, I was talking with someone in my neighborhood, and they looked at me and they said, "Becky, when you lived here," I didn't live there anymore when I had this dream. They said, "When you lived here, you didn't get enough respect for all the things you went through." And that was funny. In my dream, they used the word respect, but that's what they used. And I was actually watching this person's kids, and I was just like happy to do it. And I was watching them, and I said, "I know, but if I had, I wouldn't have learned what I was supposed to." And I just like smiled at her while I said that in my dream. And I woke up and I realized how true that was. And I felt like that was a message to me about the things that I learned. And I didn't feel happy and cheerful through that trial, by the way. I'm like smiling about it right now, but it was really hard, and I had lots of emotions. But I look back and I have gratitude, and I'm grateful. Anyway, I just wanted to share a little bit about how being alone can help us grow in ways we never thought we could, and we didn't know that we needed to. So anyway, if you're feeling alone, just know you're not alone, that we're all there with you. All of us, we really know what it feels like to be alone. Sometimes I wish we could just all reach out to each other better. Sometimes me included, right? I want to do better. Just reach out so everybody knows they're not alone, that we're all there for each other, and that's how we get through stuff. We need each other. But there is power sometimes when we don't have it in being alone. And maybe when you're going through whatever trial you're going through and you feel really alone, maybe you'll discover that because of what you went through, you're able to help someone else later on in life when they desperately needed someone. And in some way, it's almost like a gift to yourself, because even though no one maybe helped you the way you needed, you can help someone else. So that's all I wanted to share. And anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.